At school, a girl was arguing with her boyfriend. The boyfriend was asking for money, and if she couldn't give him any, he refused to go on a date with her. The girl, trying to be Jackie Chan, attempted a flying kick at him. The guy blocked it and kicked her in the stomach instead, saying, "You think you're Angelina Jolie? I'm breaking up with you. You don't have money, and you don't even want to do bang bang boogie." In the classroom, two crazy-looking girls were teasing her, saying, "You were cursing him with animal names. That's crazy." She was sad because he was her first boyfriend. Her friend said, "He looked like an elephant with those big ears." She replied, "He was like a celebrity." As she walked down the corridor, she thought to herself, "No one is comforting me." She then saw two guys bullying another student in a classroom, but the bullied guy didn't say anything. He just focused on his book. One of the bullies tried to hit him with a magnet, but when he turned back, he saw the girls sitting between them. They immediately stopped bullying him. She got up and walked out of the class. The guy called after her, "Ayashi." He said, "I know what you're interested in. Why would a beautiful girl like you talk to a four eyes like me?" "It's because you're into UFOs, right?" She snapped, "You're getting it all wrong. I was just there to stop the fight." Then, he showed her his book about UFOs. He kept rambling on, and she was getting annoyed. She started walking away, frustrated. She shouted, "Shut up. I just got dumped, and I'm in a really bad mood. You talk so much. That's why you don't have any friends." Realizing she was being too harsh, she apologized. She picked up his book and said, "I don't believe in UFOs, but I do believe in ghosts." He started laughing like an idiot. She got mad again. "I was trying to make you feel better, and you say something like that?" She added, "My grandma is a psychic. Have you ever seen an exorcism?" "You'd pee your pants," he replied. "It's just a mental illness. There's no real evidence of ghosts." So she shot back, "Oh yeah? And how do you know UFOs exist? Have you ever driven one?" Her friends saw how quickly she shifted her attention to a new guy. "I don't think she even cares about looks," one of them whispered. The argument between her and the guy ended with them trying to prove their beliefs. The loser would have to be the sidekick of the other person. So Ayashi went to a hospital to find a UFO, and Takakura went to a haunted tunnel to search for ghosts. They talked over the phone while exploring. Takakura said, "This place is a hot spot for UFOs. Aliens kidnap people here." He was standing in front of the haunted tunnel. Even though he was sure ghosts didn't exist, he was scared like a chicken. They kept asking each other if they had seen a ghost or a UFO, but both answered no. Takakura got annoyed. "You believe in ghosts, but you've never even seen one?" Ayashi replied, "My grandma is a psychic, and she raised me. I always thought my family was weird. As a kid, whenever I went outside I had to make an L shape with my hand over my head. My classmates made fun of me for it." While exploring the tunnel, Takakura suddenly saw a perverted, ugly granny. She said, "If you want, you can do anything with me." Without even listening to the rest, Takakura immediately sprinted toward the tunnel's end. He screamed into the phone, "Go, Ayashi! There's an old granny ghost in this tunnel." But no matter how far he ran, the tunnel kept getting longer. Ayashi warned him, "No matter what happens, don't let her take over you, or you'll be cursed." Suddenly, the granny started running after him, doing stunts on the tunnel ceiling. Then, his phone disconnected. Ayashi got worried and ran to help him. Suddenly, the lights flickered off. She saw three creepy figures. She must have peed her pants at that moment. The three figures ran at her, grabbed her, and tore her clothes off. She woke up tied to a chair, surrounded by the three figures. They claimed to be aliens from another planet. "No need to worry. Think of us as your friends," they said. She snapped, "Friends don't rip people's clothes off." She demanded they let her go, and pay for her clothes. Seriously? She was really asking for money in this situation? What a girl. The aliens explained, "Our planet only has males. We need a female to reproduce. And for that, they needed a human's bushy tunnel. You know what I mean. Now we will do hanky-panky with you," one of them announced. Ayashi rolled her eyes. "I dated a bad guy, but I'm still a virgin. I would never do anything with ugly creatures like you." The aliens tried to hypnotize her to make her cooperative. One of them was about to insert his metal banana when suddenly, her phone rang. One of the aliens picked it up, only to get a kick in the face from the phone. Suddenly, an old granny crawled out of the screen and bit his metal banana, throwing him away. It was Takakura, cursed by the old granny. The aliens, shocked, asked, "How did you come out of the screen? Even we don't have that technology." The old granny cackled, "I just wanted to have some hanky-panky with you guys." Everyone here was a pervert, apparently. The aliens warned her, "Go away, or we'll take your banana." The granny charged forward and bit another alien's banana. The aliens blasted her with a beam, yelling, "Give us your banana!" Takakura screamed, "Take anything, but not my banana. Ayase is my only friend. Don't you dare touch her." With that, he regained control of his body. But another alien hit him with a second beam. Ayase suddenly remembered her grandmother's words about chi. If she could control her chi, she could do anything. She felt guilty for never believing him. But then, she felt an immense power surge through her body. She couldn't believe it. She had psychic powers too? With one powerful kick, she sent an alien flying out of the spaceship. She then searched for Takakura, only to find that he had lost control again and was attacking her. Using her psychic abilities, she exorcised the ghost from Takakura's body. But the curse wasn't over yet. Turbo Granny had stolen Takakura's balls. "As long as I have Takakura's balls," she sneered, "his curse will remain. If you want them back, come to the haunted tunnel." The spaceship crashed, and Ayase and Takakura barely escaped. Now, both of them believed in ghosts and aliens. Ayase used her psychic powers to suppress Takakura's curse. Takakura gave her his clothes and told her to go home, but Ayase refused. "She is going with him to the haunted tunnel." Ayase was fuming. This guy had the audacity to lie about his name. Turns out his full name was Ken Takakura. She was so mad she forgot to keep the curse on him in check. Realizing it too late, she accidentally used her powers and slammed him into the wall. She hated his name, so she took matters into her own hands and gave him a new one, Okarun. And just like that, he was Okarun now. Of course, she teased him about liking his new name, and just as he was about to respond, boom, he let one rip. Right in her face. Ayase went nuclear. She called him a pig, asking what kind of creature farts in a lady's face. Okarun, still recovering from his own crime, stammered that she was pressuring him too much, and it just happened. Ayase, trying to ignore the smell of betrayal, noticed that morning had arrived. She reassured Okarun that Turbo Granny wouldn't show up now since ghosts only appear at night. Looking at his sorry state, she invited him to her place, saying he looked worse than a ghost. At her home, a massive gate stood there. She warned Okarun that her grandma was crazy strict about boys, strict enough to nearly kill her last boyfriend. Okarun swallowed hard. Then, the moment he stepped inside, he burst into flames, screaming, flailing. Just another normal morning. Ayase, ever the problem solver, used her psychic powers to chuck him into a water canal across the road. She then noticed the talisman barrier was up. Classic grandma security measures. Okarun, soaking wet and traumatized, yelled that he was dying. Ayase casually removed the talisman and told him to try again. He hesitated, asking if she was sure he wouldn't combust again. She shrugged and said that if he did, well, she'd just toss him back into the water. Feeling brave, Okarun tested by sticking in a hand. Nothing. Relieved, he waltzed in like he hadn't just been turned into a human torch. Inside, Ayase called for her grandma, but no one answered. She told Okarun to head upstairs and wait while she changed. But before she could finish getting dressed, boom, he barged in. Not by choice. Turbo Granny started taking control of him again the moment Ayase lost focus. Horrified, she flung him against the wall. Again. After changing, she tossed him some clothes. Then she hit him with a real question. What did it feel like to not have balls? Okarun instantly screamed in embarrassment. Checked. His face fell. His balls were indeed gone. Furious, Ayase laughed and asked why he wasn't showing them off if he was so sure they were missing. Okarun snapped. He yelled that it wasn't her problem. Ayase just smirked and told him not to take it out on her. It wasn't her fault. Okarun, fuming, pointed out that she dared him to go in the first place. Ayase rolled her eyes. She had just been minding her business when he showed up ranting about UFOs. She dared him just to make him shut up. He admitted that he just didn't want to miss a chance to make a friend. After this, she could go back to ignoring him. But Ayase surprised him. She said she wouldn't ignore him. After all, who else could she talk to about paranormal stuff? Okarun was silent for a moment. Then, under his breath, he muttered, "Bitch." Ayase grabbed his collar, and the fight was on. Before they could throw more punches, the doorbell rang. Okarun said maybe it was her grandma, but Ayase froze. She had never heard that particular ring before. Long ago, her grandma had told her that the house had 2 doorbells, one for humans and one for evil spirits. Then she noticed something chilling. She forgot to stick talisman back on the gate, and the shadow looming behind door. She decided to stick the talisman back. If it was an evil spirit, it would burn just like Okarun did earlier. Okarun panicked, pointing out that if it burned, he would burn too. Ayase shrugged and said that as long as he got off the property, he'd be fine. They snuck out through the back door, looking for the spirit. Okarun pointed at the sky. It was glitching. A concrete barrier appeared around them. Okarun freaked out. He said putting the talisman back was a terrible idea because now he couldn't leave and worse, he might burn again. Then Ayase noticed something horrifying. There was blood on the talisman. Her blood. That's when she realized they were really screwed. Suddenly, Okarun started bleeding too. They weren't just trapped. The black fog was attacking them. Then she saw it, a massive creature hanging from the ceiling. It bellowed. I have found you! You broke your promise, bad humans! With that, it lunged at them. Ayase shoved Okarun out of the way, barely dodging the attack. At that moment, they realized just how doomed they were. They turned on their heels and ran for their lives. The creature tried to slap them, but it missed. The sheer force of the wind from its attack sent them crashing into a wall. Okarun barely had time to recover before the creature roared. Give me your banana! And slammed its foot into the ground. Ayase blinked. What kind of spirit was this? Then it hit her. She turned to Okarun and with zero shame asked, You got another banana down there? Okarun, done with life, yelled that no, he did not. And also, this wasn't a ghost. It was an alien. He swore he had read somewhere that aliens like this were first spotted in America and later in Japan. Normally, they were 3 meters tall. This one? Way bigger. But that raised another question. If it was an alien, how did the second doorbell ring? Okarun recalled that people who experienced paranormal activity often also saw UFOs. Maybe ghosts and aliens had some weird connection. Ayase's eyes narrowed. So those perverted aliens from yesterday sent this thing. The situation was getting worse. The fog would kill them if they didn't figure something out. Ayase knew she couldn't fight the alien and control the curse at the same time. And that's when Turbo Granny decided to hijack Okarun's body. The alien punched straight through the house behind them. They ran into another building, where Ayase managed to regain control over Okarun. He turned to her, deadly serious. He told her to let Turbo Granny take over. He would fight the alien. He wasn't afraid. As long as she only let the spirit control his body and not his mind, he could handle it. The alien attacked again. They barely dodged. Ayase knew this was a risk, but they were out of options. She started loosening her control. Okarun began transforming, and just in time, the alien's foot came crashing down. But Okarun, now a turbo-powered fighter, dodged effortlessly while carrying Ayase. She stared at him, completely stunned. Okarun grinned. He was overflowing with power, but also, for some reason, he felt really lazy. Ayase smacked him. This wasn't the time for an identity crisis. The battle wasn't over yet. The alien swung at Okarun with both arms, aiming for a solid smackdown. But when it glanced at its left hand, some fingers were missing. Turbo Granny's powers are insane, he admitted, feeling the rush. But man, I still feel lazy. Lazy or not, he was moving at breakneck speed, so fast that Ayase couldn't even keep up. Okarun was convinced he had this fight in the bag. And then, blood. The alien slammed him again and demanded, Give me your banana! Ayase, watching this circus unfold, yanked Okarun out of harm's way with her powers. You good? She asked. Okarun wiped his mouth. Yeah, totally fine. Just casually coughing up my insides. No big deal. He clenched his fists. Even after all that, all he had managed to do was chop off 5 fingers. How the hell are we supposed to win this? Ayase rolled her eyes. If I knew, do you think we'd still be standing here arguing? Meanwhile, the alien, clearly unbothered by their dilemma, dropped into a sumo stance, ready to charge. Ayashi's eyes sparkled. Wait a second, if this thing is going sumo mode, we just have to make its hands touch the ground. That's how sumo works, right? Okarun straightened up. That's stupid. Let's do it. You go for the legs, she instructed. I'll trip it. With a determined nod, they both rushed in. The alien slammed its foot down like a toddler throwing a tantrum. Give me your banana! They dodged just in time. Okarun grit his teeth and put everything he had into slicing through one of the alien's legs. Victory? Not yet. He staggered back, coughing up even more blood. Yup, definitely not built for this. Ayase didn't waste a second. Using her powers, she forced the alien's hands to the ground. And the moment those fingers touched the floor, the hands exploded into tiny alien bits. The alien did what all nightmare creatures do. It grew 2 brand new legs, got back up, and immediately grabbed Ayase, throwing her against the wall. Then, just to be extra, it landed a punch on her too. Okarun saw red. Turbo Granny's power surged through him. But Ayase managed to snap him out of it just in time. Panting, she glared at the alien. Your hands touched the ground. That means you lost, scumbag. Okarun, still struggling to stay upright, growled. I'll release the curse. If it kills me, so be it. Ayase shot him a look. Take a break, I got this. Okarun blinked. What? Cracking her knuckles, Ayase grinned. Nothing pisses me off more than a cheater. The alien must have sensed the danger, but it was too late. It lunged, fists flying. Ayase took the hit, barely moved. That all you got? She taunted. The alien doubled down, launching a machine gun barrage of punches. Okarun was losing it. Just let Turbo Granny take over already. And then, silence. Ayase smirked. Perfect. The crater's deep enough. Okarun blinked. Huh. Before he could even process, she flew him over with her powers and slapped the talisman back in place. The alien immediately burst into flames. They stood there, breathing hard, watching the nightmare burn away. Finally, Okarun and Ayase hugged. They were safe. Ayase let out a deep breath. But before she could fully relax, Turbo Granny started stirring inside Okarun again. Let me catch my breath, she muttered, using her powers to hold him back. Okarun sighed. I can't help it. Ayase smirked. Well, at least you changed your hairstyle. Looks good on you. Okarun scowled. Stop making fun of me. And just like that, Ayase passed out, while Turbo Granny took control once again.